My name's Cody Crane. I am 22, and my stomach problems. They started when I was around 8 years old. Never really understood why. I would eat some food, and it would all of a sudden just go to my stomach where I would start having these really just churning stomach pains, and I would have to either lay down or be near a bathroom because I'm not sure what would happen. And so I'd go to the doctor, and they'd say, oh, here, let's try this. Try watching your food. Take a daily food journal. See what affects you, what doesn't affect you. But that never seemed to work because I could eat one thing one day and eat that same thing the next, and it wouldn't affect me. So I finally went to a specialist, and they started saying, well, let's try a variety of things. Let's try, looking inside. So they did, a colonoscopy, seeing if anything was wrong down there, and they've done an endoscopy. I think that's how you pronounce it, endoscopy. They go on through the front, and they really didn't find things. They found a few cysts, a few cysts. So they put me on some medication with that. And then they said, well, we can just try a variety of medications. So they ended up giving me sample pills, a lot of sample pills. Ended up prescribing me a whole variety of medication. A whole variety. And then that was for about 5 or 6 years. They just tried putting me on just different medications, one never seeming really to help because I had to be on one for 3 months in order for it to take effect, for it to really start working. So we go on, try the next, and then the next. Tried, a variety of everything, and then finally my doctor said, well, we can send you off to another specialist, see what she says. And I guess she looked over my case, and when I got in there, she already seemed kind of pretty planned on what she wanted to do. I kind of just sat down, and she said, well, you've tried all these medications, you've tried all these different things. The next thing we can try is we can try to take out your gallbladder. So, being at what I was and where I was like, okay. And so she said, this may not work. This may, do nothing. This may help. This may fix it. So I ended up having the surgery. And then they put me on some, that was 15, right around there, 15 is when I got my gallbladder out. 15. They put me on some heavy painkiller medication after that, Percocet, I think it was. And that was terrible. I had to lay on my back. I couldn't twist or turn at night. I had to constantly be on my back. And that was for a good probably 5-6 days. Went on like that. But then, I thought I was fine for a while, and then all of a sudden the stomach pain started to come back. And I did the same thing on trying see if I watch my food, which foods affect me, but never really seemed to help. So they ended up trying to prescribe me more medication, trying to see if something else new or something else might, work again. So they put me on some more medication, but just nothing ever really seemed to help. I still had that stomach pain, that stomach turning, it would just bend me over in pain. And so after doing all that, having all the surgeries, having all the prescription medications, which God knows what the side effects were because they never really told me, I still ended up with that stomach pain. That turning, bent over, painful stomach pain.
How were your emotions during all of that?
Up and down. You get hope saying this might work, and then you go for a couple days without stomach pain, and your emotions are high. You're thinking, finally, I found this thing that finally worked for me, and then you go right back, and it just dropped you. It was just like a really nice high, and then drop you straight to a low, and it just seemed that lower just got lower and lower every single time, because they give you hope. which, I mean, they really don't know what's going to work. That's why they're trying everything, but just that constant up and down emotionally, it was hard. Because you think, oh, I'm finally going to be normal. I'm finally going to be fine. I'm not going to have to do anything else. And then you just go right back down, harder and harder every time.
And how was it with your friends?
They didn't really understand. I would, I'd be out with them hanging out, and then all of a sudden, I'd just be in a lot of pain. They, say, oh, what's going on? What's going on? Oh, it's just my stomach. Oh, well, can we do anything? Can we, I was like, no, they can't really do anything. They would just, kind of leave me be, really not understanding what was going on, because I really didn't even understand what was going on, so it was hard to tell them. So they just, they would look at you in a weird way, like not sure if you're just faking it or if, if they wanted to help, but, yeah.
So, do you feel like it took away from your childhood?
Yeah, in certain aspects it started affecting me when I went out. I'd have to not eat or wait anywhere from an hour to 2 hours sometimes after I ate to not go out and do stuff because I wouldn't want to do things when I was out. I wouldn't want to, be around people just because I was in that much pain. I didn't want to bring people down, or I didn't want to ruin anything, fun-wise. So I would end up not going out or just not doing things a lot, staying at home a lot. And then that's with sports. I played soccer and baseball, and sometimes when I was playing the game, we'd have a snack in the middle or even before the game. I ended up sometimes not eating before playing just because I wanted to play. And I didn't want to have that pain, because if I had that pain while playing, I couldn't concentrate and I'd have to go home, get off the field and just go home because it wouldn't go away. I rarely had any pain that was less than 15, 20 minutes. That was a good day. Sometimes I'd be bent over for a half an hour, and it would just be a constant pain, it would dole out sometimes, but then come back with a sharp pain, and then it just felt like somebody was inside turning my stomach around and around.
And what happened with your weight?
That was always hard to maintain my weight. They had me on a variety of medication and stuff, but after I had my gallbladder taken out, it seemed I was down a lot more, because it seemed that the pain, that first 2 weeks I couldn't really do anything movement-wise, because if I were to move, that pain would just send me right down, so I didn't want to do a lot of motion. But after that, it seemed like anything I'd eat, all of a sudden I just started gaining weight. And, I ate salads, I ate healthy, I ate veggies, I ate a lot of veggies. I was one of those kids that like their veggies. And even with that, even when I go on for just 2 weeks of having no meat, no pastas, no breads, just going on veggies, it seemed that it didn't really help. I started working out. Kind of always worked out since I was around 16 years old. Kind of always done something that, not very hard. And more and more, as I started gaining more and more weight, I started realizing how important the gym was. So I would go to our gym at our apartments, start working out there, and that never seemed like it was going to be enough. I needed more variety of an exercise in order to start losing the weight. So I ended up going to a gym, and I had my emotions were high and low with the gym, because I go for a month straight, eat healthy, eat nothing, out of the norm, like no breads, just go on a pure vegetarian diet, and then work out every single day for a month for an hour to 2 in the gym. And then after that month, I maybe lost 2 to 5 pounds. And so then I'd go back into this depressing state where it'd be like, well, why am I working out? Why am I eating healthy? If I can't lose this weight, even though the doctors are saying, oh, you'll lose the weight, just, exercise and eat healthy. So I'd go into this deep, dark corner where it'd be like, well, I tried everything I can. I've gone the alternative healthy methods of just eating pure veggies and exercising. And after trying it, wouldn't seem to help any. I didn't feel better. I didn't look better. So what was the point? So I had my constant, emotions up and down with trying new programs, trying Weight Watchers, trying Atkins, trying all these different ways to lose weight. And while exercising, I ended up getting weights at home because I'm thinking, okay, I need to exercise more. I ended up getting an exercise bike so that way I could, sit there for an hour a day watching TV or playing video games or doing something else and exercising on top of the gym. And doing along with the programs, I'd see a little bit of success, and then all of a sudden it would just stop and I'd go right back. While doing this, it would be worse than a plateau. I'd plateau out and I'd be like, okay, I need to change it up a little bit, and then all of a sudden I'd start gaining the weight back while doing all these things. And so it was really hard, people telling you, oh, just work out, just eat healthy, you'll be fine, and you're doing all those things, and they're not understanding. They think you're not doing it. They think you're not eating right. You go to the doctors, you tell them, oh, I'm doing all these things, but I'm still not losing weight. Well, you're not doing enough, or you're not eating right. Still, there's still something. So it's like that doubt, even though you might be doing everything they say. And it's really depressing, and it's just like, why even do it? Why even care anymore? You're putting more stress on yourself in trying to figure out how to do this, which is not good for your health anyways. If you're just gonna, be unhealthy and just not worry about it, just not care anymore.
So what happened about a year ago?
About a year ago, I finally was like, no, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get on the right path. I'm not working out long enough. I'm not working out hard enough. So about a year ago, I started working out every single day, twice a day again. And I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it for 2 months. And, well, I didn't tell myself 2 months. I told myself that I'm going to do it. I'm just going to do it every day no matter what, no matter how I look, how I feel, because I know eventually it'll work. And so I was at the gym for 2 hours every single day. And I was working out with a professional trainer. I finally went for it, spent the money. I was working out with a professional trainer 5 days a week in the morning, and then I ended up going to the gym later on that night by myself. And he had me on a work plan for exercising, what muscles to do every single day. And then he had me on an eating schedule too. Eat protein, veggies, you can have like rice and stuff. But he had me on a pretty good schedule but it didn't seem like it was enough food. It was only, I think the calorie counter came up to anywhere from 12 to 1,500 calories. So I'm like, well, it's gotta work. I'm not eating that much. If it's basically almost starving myself and working out, and, it's gotta work. I did that for about a good 2 months straight. And then I ended up coming in at the weigh, and I only lost 10 pounds. And I still wasn't feeling good. I wasn't feeling that, everyone says when they exercise they get that endorphin high where, their emotions are running, they feel good, they look good. I wasn't getting any of that. I was still big. I was not feeling that well. I'd feel like after I worked out, like I worked myself to death. And then I'd go back there that night and do it again. And it was just like I was causing my body so much stress in the way not only of working out, but just emotionally with seeing no progress, that that was the final step. It took me down. Took me down real hard. I went into this really deep depressive state. And stress galore. Because I was stressing over my health, stressing over why I can't lose the weight, stressing over why, I go to the doctors all the time and they tell me I'll just do these things and you'll be fine. And, they said, work out for a year, see how it works out, and then, if nothing else, we can do something about your weight surgically. And at that point, I was done with all the medication. I was done with everything. I was done with surgeries, them trying to cut up on me. and do all these different things they wanted to try. Medically, they want to do an exploratory because of my stomach pains not going away. I was really fed up with the doctors. Not having success with them kind of just made me get fed up with them, and then not having success while working out and eating right. You do these things for 2 months straight and you expect to see, results. People, they say, oh, you can lose 5 pounds a week healthily, you can do these things, and then to only lose maybe 10 pounds of weight, and that could have just been water weight, so it was hard. I ended up gaining probably a good 30 pounds after that for the next 2 months. I probably ended up gaining that, and it wasn't me in my mind. It was somebody else. I wasn't thinking clearly. My emotions were high and low every single day. I'd wake up fine, and then 10 minutes later, all of a sudden I'd be stressed or depressed, or I'd be freaking out, and I was on a roller coaster. And it never seemed like I was going to get off of it.